Hello guys, my name is, well, no, that's not important. I'm a researcher that investigates government entities and extra government entities. Right now, my focus is on the SCP Foundation, and we're continuing our deep dive into what they really are. As far as the public is concerned, this organization, which functions across nearly all national borders, is non-existent, and that's how they would like to stay. However, an entity as large as they are with no government oversight or public scrutiny is ripe for corruption, misappropriation of power, and splinter groups forged from divergent idealism. The Foundation, for all of its grand accomplishments and terrifying failures, is comprised of people after all. Their search for knowledge and the preservation of the human race is often the only reason that you and I have not been blinked out of existence. The last video we covered the history of the Foundation and its sordid origins, and how it changed over the course of its lifetime, its core philosophy, as well as its structure several times before becoming what we know today. The mission of the Foundation is as followed.
Operating clandestine and worldwide, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm. The Foundation operates to maintain normalcy, so that the worldwide civilian populace can live and go on with their daily lives without fear, mistrust, or doubt in their personal beliefs, and maintain human independence from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, and other extra-normal influences. Our mission is threefold. Secure. The Foundation secures anomalies with the goal of preventing them from falling into the hands of civilian or rival agencies through extensive observation and surveillance, and by acting to intercept such anomalies at the earliest opportunity. Contain. The Foundation contains anomalies with the goal of preventing their influence or effects from spreading by either relocating, concealing, or dismantling such anomalies, or by suppressing or preventing public dissemination of knowledge thereof. Protect. The Foundation protects humanity from the effects of such anomalies, as well as the anomalies themselves, until such time that they're either fully understood or new theories of science can be devised based on their properties and behavior. The Foundation may also neutralize or destroy anomalies as an option of last resort if they are determined to be too dangerous to be contained.
Don't ask me how I managed to get the entire mission statement. So, what's new about this discovery? While there's no shortage of organizations that also seek out the anomalous, there's few that genuinely do this for the greater good of humanity. Working at the Foundation is like working at any other job. Yes, there's a chance that you might get ripped apart by an unknowable entity and erased from the timeline, but I want to let you in on a little secret. You're just as likely to get caught up in SCP shenanigans going to an IKEA or a coffee shop or getting ice cream as you are at many SCP sites. Of course, there's a longer verification process to get to any of the Foundation's secrets than, let's say, your local neighborhood coffee store, but what you'll find inside is actually not too out of the ordinary. Office workers, custodians, consultants, cafeteria workers, they're all common jobs at Foundation sites, which employ many individuals that don't even know that they're involved with one of the world's largest secret organizations. Hell, you might work for the Foundation right now, and you'll never even know. The SCP Foundation prioritizes what information is given to an individual according to their security clearance levels. Not too different than what you'll find at a government job, let's say. These security levels range from 0 to 5. Today, we're actually going to talk about the first 3 security levels of the Foundation. These 3 security levels cover the vast majority of jobs in the Foundation. Gaining access to SCP files is not to be taken lightly, which is why less than 3% of the Foundation has a security level beyond that of level 1. Now, this number may sound low, but in my estimates, the Foundation employs around 230,000 people worldwide through its front companies, and this number does not include the D-Class or any person that works in the Foundation with anomalous abilities themselves. This is why the death of that 3% is not risked whenever the D-Class can be provided in their place. The higher we go in this list, the harder it's going to be to find their duties and responsibilities, especially at the site that I'm currently investigating. At present, personnel files are stored in various locations, and not all of them can be accessed remotely. From what I found, there are 6,900 persons in the Foundation with a security level 2 and up. Of that number, there are 2,500 people that compose the field agents, security forces, government infiltration, espionage agents, and the DEA. From there, there's 1,500 researchers, 900 people that work in a specialized department, 770 that work in an administrative position, 46 that work in an executive capacity, and the weird thing is that there's actually 1,230 people, over 1,000, whose roles are not specified in any document I can find. The SCP Foundation, like any large organization, is broken up into multiple departments, each of which specialize in a specific task. These separate departments work to complete the overall goal of the O5, the EC, and of course, the mysterious administrator. All of these positions we're going to talk about in a future video. The communication between these departments is usually handled at an administrative level within each site. Departments within the Foundation are a research topic unto themselves, and I may go over them in a future video. The departments include the following: Administrative Department, Department of Internal Affairs, Engineering and Technical Services Department, Ethics Committee, EC, Intelligence Agency, Internal Security Department, Logistics Department, Manufacturing Department, Medical Department, Mobile Task Force, Scientific Department, Security Department, Internal Tribunal Department. Continuing on, someone with a security level 0 cannot access any information related to the Foundation. They're not given a SCP badge or a tour around the containment site. These individuals are the ones I mentioned before, being the office workers, custodians, consultants, cafeteria workers, truck drivers, contractors, etc. They're the least involved with the anomalies and don't even know they're part of the Foundation. Instead, they believe they work for one of the many front companies. They usually have pay comparable to similar positions in other companies, though some site directors have been known to be kinda stingy with their budget. Level 0 persons often have the same holiday, days off as typical for positions relative to the country the site is located. These guys are the busy bees that run the majority of the Foundation's positions and make the majority of the Foundation's revenue to continue their operations outside of what is given to them from government grants and other benefactors. The front companies are often run by somebody appointed by the O5 Command or the Ethics Committee, which we'll talk about later. It is rare for an individual to not be tied directly to the Foundation, but in some instances, a company has been turned over to civilian ownership with little to no oversight. Trying to get hired for a level 0 position is no different than trying to land a job at a hotel or a plumbing agency or any other normal job, because for all intent and purposes, it is a normal position. All you have to do is go online, apply for a job, and you may very well be applying to work at one of the Foundation's front companies, or even one of their sites and never know. Of course, you won't see SCP Foundation in the job description or their logo anywhere on the building like you see on my mask. Having the symbol would give away their clandestine nature. While we're on the subject of the SCP logo, you may actually be surprised to find that most people in the Foundation with security level as high as 2 and even 3 have never seen this logo before, and wouldn't know what it was if you showed it to them. That's because the Foundation doesn't go around branding their secrets by placing logos on suits, badges, and documents for plausible deniability's sake. The next level is level 1, which seems to serve as a way for someone to go from knowing nothing about the true nature of the Foundation to at least being aware that there's more under the hood. Some level 1 persons do seem to have some understanding that they are containing something at their facilities, but they don't have access to SCP files and don't know anything about anomalies. These people usually have the same job as the level 0s, just higher ranking variations of those positions. People with this security clearance seem to go one of two ways. They drop out after a few months or years, are given amnestics so that they can continue their normal lives, or they get curious into what they're doing and want to go deeper. From the rumors I came across, people with level 0 clearance typically stay away from all other clearance levels, especially level 1s. They are around the level 1s the most, and to them, they're always kind of off after a few months. A lot of level 1 persons, especially in construction and communication departments, become paranoid after a while. Level 1s do have to be careful as to what information they can ask. They're always monitored, and they're expected to do their job with no answers given to them. The SCP Foundation has many rivals and enemies, so someone who seems too hungry for information is seen as a potential security threat. One does not simply apply for a security level 2 clearance. You won't find an ad or walk into a recruiter's office to get one of these coveted positions. If you are a candidate for a level 2, the Foundation has most likely been watching you for a long time. Candidates that are level 2 are in the category of "we'll find you when we need you." The Foundation's recruitment officers will engage in candidacy screenings, sometimes 5 years in advance. At this time, they're going to watch your every move to determine whether or not you're fit for the life of an SCP personnel, ensure that you're not a member of a rival or hostile organization, and also make sure that you're not an anomaly yourself. The level 2 clearance seems to be what researchers are given along with field agents in security. From my research, this is the minimum level you have to be to gain any real information on the SCP Foundation's true goals. They can work directly with and around anomalous entities and objects. People who are at this level have to undergo extensive background checks and weeks of peer review and interviews. Level 2 personnel have to see a psychiatrist regularly, as they have had high suicide rates in the past. The weight of some of the unknowable terrors they become aware of is not for the faint of heart after all, and the Foundation would rather maintain the skilled personnel they bring on as a level 2. In my research, this was not always the case, as level 2 and level 3 were at one point one and the same. The need for heightened security for some SCP files that should be accessed by senior researchers that were not site directors led to the creation of the security level 3, which really just pushed back the other security levels so that they had a security level 0. Well, that's it. That's the truth about working at the SCP Foundation, at least in the first 3 security levels. It may be surprising to find that working at any level in the Foundation can be mundane. However, like every job, there's always a need for the pencil pushers. The Foundation may work to hold back the untold horrors, but like any organization, they need the basics all large organization needs: people, money, resources. For now, that's it for this video. We will continue our look into the SCP Foundation another day. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and comment down below. If you didn't like the video, please be sure to like and subscribe and then tell your friends about it, then come back next week to see if I do any better. Anyways, I'm out.